Am I the asshole for not rehoming my bottle baby kitten due to roommate's fake allergies? For those who don't know, a bottle baby refers to a baby that needed to be bottle fed for various reasons. This can include an orphan, mom abandoning a runt or entire litter, etc. Few weeks ago, 30 female, picked up an orphaned kitten on the side of the road with no mom, siblings to be found. She was approximately 1 week old at the time. Brought her home and started taking care of her as rescues and shelters are full with kittens. Yay kitten season, right now. She's been growing like a weed and slowly hit her milestones, like figuring out the litter box. She stays in my room so I can supervise her, make sure she doesn't get into things she's not supposed to. The problem is my roommate, 25 female. She claims she's allergic to the kitten but has no symptoms. No itchy skin, no red, watery eyes, no hives, rashes, etc. She also claims she grew up with cats and she currently has 2 adult cats. I'm not saying they're mutually exclusive, but I find it hard to believe that she claims to have non-symptomatic allergies. Plus she waited 5 full weeks to tell me? Yeah, no. I told her I'm not rehoming the kitten as she currently has cats herself and the allergies weren't a problem until now. She's claiming her kitties are S's, which may or may not be true as this is the first time she mentioned it, and still doesn't explain her not having reactions to them. She's threatening to report me to the landlord over the issue. I'm not giving up the kitten as she's quite attached to me at this point. Roommate is still throwing a fit over it. Am I the asshole? I can pay cat tax under my profile if people ask. Info. Something isn't adding up here. You said, she currently has 2 adult cats. You also said in a comment, the lease doesn't specify how many or what types of pets we can have. But you also said in your post, she's threatening to report me to the landlord over the issue. On what basis is she threatening to report you to the landlord? Dear landlord, my roommate is annoying me. Is that the best she's got? Not the asshole. It's more than reasonable to expect that someone with 2 cats themselves is able to live in a house with an additional cat in the mix. Glad that your baby is thriving. Cat tax, please. She has 2 cats, you have 1. So, if she actually had allergies, her 2 adult cats would likely be contributing to those far more than a tiny little kitten would. Not the asshole, and as long as your landlord is okay with it, I don't see an issue. I normally would see an issue with adding a pet without your roommate's agreement in a roommate situation, but since she has 2 cats, and you only have the tiny kitten you rescued, her objections are very unreasonable. Edited for clarity. Info. Do her cats currently live with her and is the landlord aware of them? If so, were the 2 cats written into the contract as the only pets allowed to live in the house? She sucks for her allergy story, which I agree sounds like nonsense. However, you also suck for essentially getting a pet without discussing it with her first. This cat can't live in your room forever and it will have an impact on her cats. There is no guarantee that they will get along and it's likely that it will be stressful for all cats involved. She's going about it in a weird way, but I would be quite pissed if a roommate just brought a new cat into the home without checking with me. Cats don't automatically get along, and the kitten can't stay in your room forever. There's a big chance her cats can already smell and hear the kitten and it's causing stress. Not clear why she isn't communicating that instead of this allergy story, but allergies can be quite weird. I'm technically allergic to cats but accidentally had exposure therapy by growing up with cats, to the point where I work in vet med and rarely react. It's obviously a pretty mild allergy though, which doesn't stop me from having a cat. So you are the asshole for just assuming she would be okay with a new cat, and she's the asshole for being weird about it and not communicating clearly. Am I the asshole for being jealous that my sister got the cat I wanted? Am I the asshole for background I 20, F, have a little sister 17, F. My family finally moved into a pet-friendly house 1 year ago and me and my sister begged our parents to get a pet, so we got a dog, family dog. Mainly my mom's, he only listens to her. Anyway, so 6 months later I asked my parents, hey, can I get a cat? My parents say, okay maybe. A few months go by and I've been buying cat stuff, cat tree, cat toys, researching half-raw diets, cat beds, litter boxes and which litter is better over other brands, etc. And my mom's old friend is just so happens to have to rehome her cat because she had to move into a retirement home and unfortunately it doesn't allow pets. So we adopted the cat. I got super excited thinking I am finally getting a cat I've been wanting for years, and she comes home and she is getting used to the environment and everything. Meanwhile I've given this cat all the stuff I bought for when I get a cat, thinking OMG, she is my cat now. Few days later I come home after work and see that all the cat stuff isn't in the living room corner anymore, so I ask my mom where it all went and she goes, oh, it's all in your sister's room because the cat is now your sister's cat. I got so mad I just ran to my room and wanted to take all the stuff I bought back so I can have it for when I get a cat. I did not take any of the stuff back. It's not fair to the cat, it did nothing wrong. I also have a full-time job with steady income, not enough to afford rent by myself, but enough to pay for a vet bill. My sister has no job and has to rely on other people to get the cat stuff. So am I the asshole for being jealous that my sister got the cat I wanted? Update 1. I see there is a lot of confusion going on and I'm sorry about my terrible wording. I was crying while writing this post, and I'm not very good with words. My mom and sister are never home. My sister has the cat locked in her room most of the day because my sister doesn't want the cat hurting the dog. The dog is okay with the cat, he always wants to play with her, and he brings her his toys to play with him. Unfortunately, moving out is not really an option ATM. I live in a capital city where rent can be $1,800–2,000 per month, nothing included. I do work at a job that pays me pretty good, $20 an hour, but still not enough to move out on my own. I have a partner that I have been dating for a while, and we have been talking a bit about us moving in together. As for my mom, this isn't the first time she has done this with an animal. When we lived in the place before this one, we were allowed small animals, hamster, rats, guinea pigs, etc. So she got herself a hamster, and she ended up giving it to me when she got bored with it. It passed in its sleep like 7 months ago after being 2.5 years old. Anyway, she isn't home to train the dog, so I train it, but whenever my mom gets home all the training we have done goes down the drain. He bites everyone when they come into the house. I have tried correcting this behavior, but my mom keeps letting him jump and bite. I, myself, have paid for obedience classes for the dog, but my mom has not taken him to them. As for the cat, my sister keeps it locked in her room most of the day, and only lets them roam at night. The litter box is not in my sister's room, it's in the bathroom. When my sister isn't home I do move the litter box to her room so the cat can at least use the bathroom. I also think the cat does like me. She makes biscuits on me, gives big blinks, and follows me for attention. Last night when I was crying she sat and watched shows with me for 3 hours, letting me pet her belly, and showing me her belly. She also does like the in-between-your-legs thing that almost makes me fall flat on my face at night, so I had to get her a bell so I know she is there. She is a black cat. I also have taken some of your advice, and got some cat treats, and those like Go-Gurt cat treats. I will not be feeding her them often. When the cat needs to see a vet and you are asked to help pay the vet bill, it's your sister's cat so she has to pay it. Not the asshole. With all due respect, your mom is the asshole here. Your family has shown you where you stand. Save your money, move out, and never trust a promise from them or help them with anything. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, your mom is. You shouldn't have assumed the cat was yours, but your mother should have corrected your assumption before you got all the cat things out. Also, it's a family pet, can't you share the cat? The cat doesn't belong to either you or your sister. You both belong to the cat and the cat will decide who is their favorite human. Not the asshole. Also, why can't the cat be the family cat, just like the family dog? Am I the asshole for not being compassionate after my ex had surgery? Hi all. I recently got into a relationship with a guy from work. We have been dating for a month and he recently had a surgery on his stomach to take part of his intestine out. I will give you brief timeline of events. Stayed with him the night before, during, and after. Visited him every day he was in the hospital and took him home when he got released. Stayed with him 2 days after. Bought groceries. Made homemade soup that he never ate. I hardly heard from him after I went home. Then a couple days later he texted me around 5 a.m. saying that he was going back to the doctor because something felt wrong. The doctors discovered multiple abscesses in his stomach and he made it seem like there needed to be a procedure done to take care of them. I asked if he needed me there because I was supposed to work that day. He said it was up to me, but he may need a ride. So I called my boss, explained the situation and he gave me off. I got to the hospital around 2:30. I also lived 2 hours away from him, and when I got to the hospital it was very obvious he was upset with me, and was interrogating me on why I couldn't be there sooner. I explained the situation, also that the weather was terrible and he just did not care. He called me a hypocrite and said that I'm just a needy little support blanket, and basically that I dropped the ball and he wanted me to be there to comfort his daughter. I left the hospital because he said he didn't want to deal with me. Also, all the doctor ended up doing was prescribing him antibiotics and no procedure was necessary. A couple days went by and he said nothing. When he did reach out he asked if I was still mad at him. I expressed to him how I felt, and he does not think he did anything wrong. Instead he blamed me for not being there for him and not having any compassion, and then blamed his frustration with me on the painkillers he was on and the pain he is in. Proceeded to call me a bunch of names and we ended up breaking up. I know painkillers can affect your mental state, but am I out of line here? I can elaborate on this if I have to, but I can't help but feel maybe I was a little insensitive. So am I the asshole? I think it is easy to see why he need to lean on a near stranger for help because he has probably burned a lot of bridges with his ungrateful and demanding attitude. Consider this a dodged bullet. You may have gotten in too deep to easily get out by the time you saw this side of Hiei otherwise. NTA. Not the asshole. Your ex showed himself as a hateful, selfish taker, and I am surprised you stuck around after he berated you at the hospital. Not the asshole, and this sounds like way too much way too early into a month of dating. The fact that you were only dating a month and he asked you for any of this is insane. You shouldn't have been asked to do anything. Take. He wants a nanny, not a girlfriend. But at 1 month, you aren't even his girlfriend. Kick him to the curb and move on. Geez, not the asshole, most definitely not. Not the asshole, but can you really not see that this guy is a total aw? You've been dating him a month and he expects you to act like a devoted spouse while he gives you exactly nothing back, and he berates you for not doing enough. Please move on and don't look back. At times of stress, you find out who people really are. Your ex-boyfriend flunked the be a person exam. Good luck with the next one. Would I be the asshole if I told my brother he and his girlfriend should not have a baby? My 20F brother, 24 male, and his girlfriend are apparently trying for a baby. Here's the thing. My brother is a high school dropout. He doesn't work. He isn't back in school. He doesn't do anything basically but go out with his friends and smoke weed all day. His girlfriend doesn't really have a stable job either. She's a hairstylist who has 1 client every month. My brother and his girlfriend both live in our mother's basement. My mom enables the behavior. She doesn't tell him to get a job, go back to school, or do anything productive. When I found out they were trying for a baby, I immediately thought, why, when they have no source of income, no space for a baby, and neither of them are emotionally mature enough to raise a child, considering they're in a toxic relationship where they break up every month and constantly cheat on each other. I told my mother, she needs to tell them they shouldn't be trying for a baby because of all these reasons. She just said they're 2 adults who can make their own decisions. Would I be the asshole if I told my brother he should not have a baby? I feel like it'll seem like I'm being judgmental or unsupportive. But this isn't just about him. This is about a human child they'll potentially be screwing up by bringing them into this world unprepared. Instead, talk to them in a friendly way about what they see themselves doing in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Ask them about how much money they would like to make next year ideally and what kind of job they would like to get them that money. Don't have opinions, just draw them out like you are musing idly about it. If they bring up a baby, ask if they have medical insurance and then casually ask them look up how much it would cost without insurance as if you were just curious. Ask if she's afraid of tearing or having stitches and stretch marks. And so on. Get them thinking. If you are close enough to them to feel comfortable, try asking them some leading questions. Like, where would the baby sleep? Have you priced out things like diapers, strollers, and other baby gear? How about medical insurance and doctor visits for the baby? Make it very clear that you will not be available for babysitting or loaning money. After that, all you can do is feel sorry for the kid. Don't waste your breath. YWBTA if you thought relaying him the simple rational outcome of this situation would make him have some major change of heart. Obviously he's not capable of adult reasoning. However, you could get it on record with both him and your mom that in no way will you be stepping in to help with childcare or their future expenses if they insist upon doing something so outrageously dumb. Let them screw up their own lives. Not the asshole, but he won't listen. I wouldn't say, don't have a baby, but I agree with the sentiment. I just work to find a way to address your issues without saying, you'll be awful parents. IDK why everyone is saying you are the asshole. Yeah, they're adults but they want to bring a child into this mess? YWNBTA. You will seem judgmental because you are judging them. And rightly so. They should not bring a child into this world. Your concerns are 100% valid. Bringing a child into a chaotic, unstable environment affects more than just the parents. That said, telling someone they shouldn't have a baby is a conversation that can go south really fast, especially coming from a sibling. If you do say something, keep it focused on concern for the child's well-being, not judgment of their lifestyle. But ultimately, you can't stop them. All you can do is voice your worries with compassion and hope they listen.